going to chair this session.
Hello.
This is Ms. Vaddi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you. Yeah. Me too.
Yes. So I will start again. Yeah. Can you see?
Shall we start?
Yes. Can you see my PPT? PPT?
Yes, Dr. Lee.
Good. Yes. Okay. So
Let me introduce myself and let me introduce the speaker. Give me 2 minutes.
okay. Okay, no problem.
Sorry to interrupt you, but a very good morning to one and all. In fact, it's my privilege and honor to chair this online discussion on Korean shamanism, past and present, organizing by Korea Research Cycle. Indeed, we've been delighted to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Miss Hyun Lee, postdoctoral fellow, Institute of Asian and Transcultural Studies, Vilnius University, Lithuania. Dr. Hyun has done an extensive and fascinating research on comparing shamanism and mythology between Korea and Finland. Currently, she is working on the changing perceptions of love, marriage, and gender relations in the changing socio-cultural dynamics in South Korea. Before I hand it over to the speaker, let me give you a brief background of today's subject. As the world is structurally rebooting in the prism of Industrial Revolution 4.0, there is a resurgence of religion and its significance in international relations. One side, Korea has been making significant strides in various fields in science and technology, automobiles, biotechnology, and so on. On the other side, the role of religion has never lost its relevance in the Korean context. In this context, why religion is very important for the Korean society? Why Koreans are strongly holding this institution? In fact, Korea is a custodian of important religious beliefs such as Confucianism, Buddhism, and Christianity. Though all these religious philosophies are imported from outside, but in Korea they're highly sacredly preserved. In this background, why Korea is holding this religious philosophy very strongly? For my understanding, since Korea has been surrounded by all the major powers, it has been victim from the great power rivalry. If you look at the Tang invasion, if you look at the Tang invasion 7th century, Mongol invasions 13th century, then Japanese invasion 16th century, and so on and so forth. The most brutal colonial experience under Japanese imperialism one side, the unexpected division of Korean peninsula by the outsiders and the Korean War. In all these kind of tragedies, the Korean kings and government failed to protect the public from the foreign armies. In such an unpredictable situation, people became religious and seeking a supernatural entity to save or to find a relief or a kind of refugee. The metaphysical rationality could not address the Korean sufferings. Perhaps the insecurity and unpredictable experiences seek supernatural interventions without thinking about rationality. In this context, shamanism is a Korean native religion. In fact, it is a root of all religions in Korea and has been an important factor in providing a religious mentality and outlook among Korean people. With this, I invite Dr. Hyun to speak on this very fascinating and very important topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for introduction. Yes. Okay, so let's see this presentation. Can you see, right? Yes, so I would just want to start with this. Why do we still need to talk about Korean shamanism? But already Dr. Sudhakar Vaddi was talking about it's very old like religion, but it is still in Korea. And if you see Korean drama, Korean movie, then there are always like there's a shaman. Korean shamans are there. And 2 months ago, there was one movie was like mega hit in Korea. Name is like Exhuma. And the main character, 2 characters are Korean shamans. If you like to see scary movie, I highly recommend you to watch this. Check it out, the Exhuma. And it's all talking about Korean shamanism, and also Japanese colonial time, and all together. So it was very interesting movie. Yes, so that we are still in this time now, Saturday morning and maybe afternoon in Korea. But in this moment, there will be an initiation ceremony for new shaman in Korea. So it's like really living phenomenon still in Korea. Today I'm talking about Korean shamanism and also brief history about Korean shamanism. Of course, I will mention about the Mudang, Korean shaman, and also talking about the Korean shamanic performance, good. And then also lastly, I was like briefly talking about the image of the Mudang. So I wonder, where will you go in India when you face like sudden like illness or tragedy? I wonder where you go normally, who you will meet to consult. In Korean case, many people will go to see a shaman. And if you see like left side, there will be advertisement of one shaman, and you can see the like phone number here, and also Facebook and Twitter. So in the internet or phone, you can easily have an appointment with a shaman in Korea. So I start with the definition of Korean shamanism. Korean shamanism is like also known as Muism, Mugyo, is a Korean indigenous animistic spiritual belief system. It was already there before in Korea, before arriving like Buddhism or Confucianism, and then later it continued to coexist with them and influencing Korean culture, spirituality, and daily life. The core of Korean shamanism is the belief in presence of spirits, natural object, and ancestral spirits. Spirits are very important. And Korean shamans, primary woman, known as Mudang, act as a mediator between the human world and spiritual world. How they can be a mediator through the actually like rituals called good to communicate with the spirit and also like seek their guidance. So the spirits, followers, human, and then Mudang is like mediator through the good ritual ceremony, as you can see there. The brief history of Korean shamanism. Korean shamanism emerged as early as like Neolithic to Bronze Age. From the Neolithic period to the 7th century, shamanism influenced politics, society, and individuals. It's like whole like realm of this, politics, society, like also the human life. I mean, like the individuals, like everyday life. So initially at the time was like there is a shaman king. So shaman and king are
Dr. Lee,
person.
just to correct you, your slides are not moving. Your slides are not moving. We're not able to see your slides.
Oh no. I actually was also asking you that how I can moving this one, because I never done this using the Google Meet, so I don't know how I can move this one. Anyone can advise me how I can move?
Can you use the mouse to select slides, like the cursor?
Let me see.
Like
Just
right
click
now
on the second slide.
it's working.
Now changing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is like Exhuma that I was talking about, and then this is the shaman advertisement, and then I was talking about this like spirits and the human followers. The Mudang can mediator through the good ceremony. This is what I talked, and the shaman and king. So, for example, the second king of Silla, Chachaung, was both king and shaman. So, shaman and king are same person, and shamanism status was very high at the time because there is no Confucianism, no Buddhism at the time also. But then the royal power grew stronger, the religious roles separated. Shaman focused only on religious duties. Shamans served as psychic counselors and also medicine men, so they can healing ceremony for royal family, and also priests for overseeing the these religious ceremonies, especially rain rituals. Korea was like farming country, so rain is so important. So normally these shamans are like doing this like these religious ceremonies for having rain, a lot of rains. Okay, and then three kingdom period, the Korean shamanism coexist with the Buddhism and Confucianism, which that were introduced from China. And then the unified Silla in Goryeo dynasty, shamanism is continued to practice along with the Buddhism and Confucianism. During that time, because the Silla and the Goryeo is like more, they just take this Buddhism as state religion. So shamanism is like starting to integrating elements from these religions, and then like syncretic beliefs and practice is like coming through that time. Then Joseon dynasty. If we learn about this Korean history, then Joseon dynasty, what was the main religion or like belief system is Confucianism. And Confucianism is a very exclusive nature. So then shamanism, because of that, they don't believe spirits actually. So shamanism and Mudang were severely repressed. Mudang's social status dropped to the lowest class, like same as slaves, butchers, and Buddhist monk. Because of this, Mudang's image has been stamped to the Korean people's memory as uneducated and lowest class in the society. There are very strong perception. I mean, until like 1970s and 80s, or maybe 1990s too. People think like Mudang is very uneducated. Joseon dynasty 500 years, so that's why the shaman was like this status. So we can see that how influential dynasty's policy was on people's perception of the Mudang. So it's going really down. And then Japanese colonial time from 910 to 1945. That time was that this is also a time that the Korean tradition was considered an obstacle to modernity. And also Japanese educate Koreans to believe that shamanism was culturally interfere to justify their colonial rule, even though they have a very similar like Shintoism and as gave a lot of pressure to the Korean people to believe it and follow it, the Shintoism at the time. But anyway, because of that, the image of the Korean shamanism fell again in the Japanese colonial time. And then there will be a Korean War. Korean War is that for Mudang is also very hard time. Korean War, like North Korean and South Korean was like fight each other, right? And then actually Mudang doesn't have like political stance, because whenever they have someone was really need to Mudang, then they will go and help them. They don't think of like this is North Korean, so I shouldn't do that, or this is South Korean, so I cannot do that. They don't think like this way. So they think North Korean soldiers or South Korean soldiers think like Mudang as a spy. So that's why this is one of the scene of the movie, and both like this is like the like bright color of this clothes is like North Korean soldier, and the other is South Korean soldier. They both want to kill the Mudang because they think that the Mudang is a spy. So for shaman for that time was also very, very hard time. Then Republic of Korea, I need to mention about the very famous dictator, president, Park Chung-hee, and he initiated a new village movement called Semaul-Undong, and then this movement was against all traditional things, including the minimization and simplification of the traditional rituals and ceremonies. So the image of Mudang was the worst because the public thought shamanism and Mudang were just old customs which hindered the country's economic growth. So that time that many people are destroyed, many shrines, Mudang's place, or also very traditional place too, because it's like really obstacles to like country's economic growth. But interesting is that this Park Jong-hee, same person, he also initiated the Cultural Property Protection Act in 1962 to boost the traditional culture was a good solution to the side effects of rapid industrialization. There were a lot of side effects because the time was Korea really pushed like to go to really fast, economic growth. So there are many side effects. So there should be also policy to like minimize this side effect. So that's why the same dictator president was like make this like law. So actually made the people recognize the traditional arts aspect of Korean shamanism, even they did not consider shamanism itself a traditional religion. And so at the time, especially for Muda, it was a huge acknowledgement from society after suffering such a long oppression time. So the time is like a little bit better. And current status today, Korean shamanism is practiced in various forms across the Korean peninsula, while it is not as predominant as Buddhism or Christianity in South Korea. It still plays a significant role in many Koreans' cultural spiritual lives. Rituals are performed a lot of reasons, including like honor ancestors, seek good fortune, and appease spirits. I will like tell more in detail later on. So I moved to the Mudang. What is Mudang? Definition is that she's like, or he or she is a shaman practitioner, usually female, who are believed to mediate between human and spiritual world. Role is that Mudang perform rituals. Rituals are so important. Offer prayers, conduct divinations, and provide healing services. And they often called upon to appease like angry spirits and also to seek blessings. You might wonder how many then Mudangs in Korea. About 200,000 Mudangs registered with the Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Tourism in 1990. We don't have like recent record. The New York Times reported around 300,000 Mudangs working in contemporary Korea. Probably can be more, because as I said, in this moment, Saturday, that there will be a new Mudangs initiated, so that it's more adding numbers. So I also want to talk about then what is the difference between the Siberian shamanism. I probably you are wonder. The Korean shamanism is believed to have origins in Siberian shamanism. The difference is that in Korean shamanism, spirits possess the shaman's body. In Korean shamanism, so there's a spirit will possess the shaman's body, so that the shaman will kind of lost herself and then speak what spirits wanted to talk. While in Siberian shamanism, the shaman's soul leave his body and go to the celestial world or spiritual world, meet the spirits there. So it's a very big difference, possession or troubling. So it's like you can see like very big difference. And in Korea, there are two types of mudang. One is that Gangshinmu, I just told you that the shaman who receive their calling through possession by a spirit. This is identify a certain spirit as her master spirit and ask for its help whenever a program occurs. But how you know that the spirit choose me? How we know? There is like a kind of a process. So the first one is that the core of the spirit usually manifests as like illness, like pathological symptoms, a condition called in Korean 심병. Once the call is confirmed, shaman undergoes the initiation ceremony, 내림굿, ritual to accept the spirit formally. Once you're done with the 내림굿 initiation ceremony, then officially you can be a mudang. You can do all the things that mudang can do. The other type of the mudang is sesemu, we call hereditary shamans, who honor no specific spirit, they will not get any spirit possession, but are content with providing rituals for the villagers. The role and duties of the shaman are passed down from one generation to next generation within the family. This role is functionally very similar to that of the Catholic priest, maybe for your understanding. So normally, when the scholars, when they study that, north is like more 강신모 and south is more 세신모. But now in Korea, urbanization, and so when Riora Sarfati was like, when she was researching in 2016, then she actually went to the countryside and find the shaman, but her conclusion is like all the best mudang is in Seoul, not in the countryside. So it's like not really big regional difference. And now I was talking about this 신병, what kind of spiritual sickness like they are going through. There are many different kind of symptoms, loss of energy, and you can see some things, hallucinations, and you can also hear some voices, and you cannot sleep at night, insomnia, and then suddenly you just go to the mountain and you're digging up something. So anyway, you're going through this kind of sickness, 신병, and then mudang gains psychic power to prepare the mudang to enter into the state of self-loss. This ability is actually in Korea not like thinking, people don't think like a blessing, people more thinking like a curse. It's because mudang's life is very difficult. And I'm move to the good shamanic performance. Good is a ritual performed by the mudang, and this purpose is like there are various kind of forms of good, and each with the specific purposes, such as healing, exorcism, blessing, communal well-being for villagers. And the ritual can be elaborate and theoretical, and always with the music, dance, and offerings. And in just thinking about the South Korea, there are the regional differences. Good rituals exhibit like regional variations. So it also shows that diverse cultural landscape and histories across the Korean peninsula. And shamanic healing, shaman also perform like healing rituals to cure illness believed to be caused by the bad spirits. Because like back to the history, and of course we have this traditional medicine, but traditional medicine was not really available, I think, to common people, commoners. Like, so then normally the people are going to the mudang and then ask for, if they are sick, then they want to do this good ceremony to get rid of the illness. So it was like so long time, the now like the shamanism history. So it's so long time performed. Those people's perception is not changed like once you change like to the Republic of Korea. Even though the Republic of Korea established, the people still believe the shaman can heal the people, and doctors are not enough at the time too. So it takes a really long time to change this perception, I should mention. And then what was the main kind of idea about the healing is that healing was like kind of exercising this like bad spirits, but also something was like unbalanced. So through the good ceremony, that shaman can make a balance, or like not harmony, but then through the good ceremony can make a harmony. So everything is fine. The shaman also practiced also divinations to predict the future, understanding the will of spirits, and to give advice to individuals. Methods include like reading patterns in nature, where they throw the rice and see the rice, how the rices are like spreading, and they can read the future. And they also interpreting dreams, and also using the like sticks, or they also throw coins, like old coins, and see that they can interpret what they mean. And most common service is Tom divination, and then this is kind of formal one-on-one spiritual counseling. And Korean people ask, when will I get married, and where should I start my own business? this kind of questions that you can do. And this one is not really expensive. It's not like accompanied with a ceremony. You just like throw something and then Buddha can predict your future. And shamanic equipment is like meter. There is a meter. Meter means the mind of spirit, and there's a rattle. And rattle, Buddha used this during the good ceremony, and this is like means like calling the spirit Silyang, holding it with the left hand. And there is a 오방 신장기. Actually, I was like bring here, so you can see here like this kind of flag, and Buddha will just like wrap like this and ask you to pick one. And then you pick one, just like this, and you will see this color. But I will let you know what was the meaning of this. Yeah, now you can see. Actually, red is good luck with wealth. This is the best. Yellow is it's talking of ancestor. It's also convenient. White is rest in peace. It's not bad. Blue, I worry something. And green or black is like health issues. Well, this is not the 100% like always like this. No. Because Buddha has spirit. So sometimes this color means different meaning. Spirit will tell you that this one is some different meaning. Also is possible. So it's not like 100% like always like this. You shouldn't believe like this way. This is I wanted to talk. And then the shamanic equipment is like Waldo and Samjichang trident is like they have like shoot to the left hand, they hold this, and right hand hold that, and this is a weapon of Mudang for sickness relief good and in order to expel evil spirits. And then you might wonder, then what about the Silyang? What kind of spirits in Korea? No one knows how many Silyangs are out there. Different regions have different names for those of similar function, and this only seems to multiply their number. So there are so many, maybe 10,000 or more like spirits there in Korea. But I would like pick up like the very famous one. So first one is Daegam. Daegam take responsibility for people's fortune, particularly matter of money making. And also there is a national protecting military generals such as Choi-young or Kwanun-jung. All those are known to serve to protect people from evil spirits. And there is also Princess Bari. Princess Bari is very important. Her main role is escort the soul of the deceased to the underworld. Individual Mudang have their own principal spirits. So everyone was different, not the same, very different principal spirits. They will be known in the initiation ceremony. And there's also Spring Emperor called Okang Sangje and Cheseok, whose origin is Hindu or Buddhist, both means heavenly god. For early times, shamanism believed in the heavenly god as the central figure or godhead of their worship and believe him to be the great lord who controls life and death. You want to have a baby, then you need to pray for Chilsung. Chilsung means 7 star, and it's related to the childbirth and longevity. You can see that here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. This is a 7 star. Man is just there. And Dragon King God is related to sailing and fishing, and there's also Seongju God. Seongju is like household prosperity, so can worship. But it's not worship in the same way by all different according to the region. But I should say that who is the most important god or spirit in Korean shamanism is Sanshin. Sanshin means the mountain god, because I think the most important necessary of the spirit in Korea are the mountains. 70% of the peninsula are like mountainous. Ascending the mountains are always been a way of getting closer to the spirit world. And how he is look like, you can see the picture there, that the normally old man who has white beard, and he always with a tiger. And if you see this photo, then you will see this is Sanshin. Picture of Sanshin can be found most of a Buddhist temple in Korea. This is interesting, right? Why not shamanism? Or shaman's house, this Buddhist temple, because Buddhism has blended with shamanism since it first arrived in the 1st century and today. So you can see it whenever you go to the temple, Buddhist temple in Korea. Okay, so purposes of significance of good rituals. I told you, in order to be a Buddha, you need to do initiation ceremony. So initiation ceremony, and number 2 is seeking blessings. 3, healing illnesses. Sometimes still while doing this is because you go to this hospital, you go that hospital, but your illness is not better. Then the last place you go to is Mudang. You will do this healing, illnesses, like good ceremony, and also communal bonding for villagers and guiding spirit to the afterlife. So someone dying, and then doing this good ceremony. So you remember Princess Bari, she will take the dead spirit to the underworld. And also something was not going well, then also appeasing angry spirits too. So a little bit talking about the initiation ceremony in Nerim Gut. Nerim is like refer to the physical entrance of the spirit into a new initiate. And a particular spirit will take possession of the new Mudang, and from then on her spirit leader or principal spirits. This Nerim Gut cures illness, that one you remember, hallucination and hearing voices and you couldn't sleep, that kind of old illness, and then signal the initiation's transformation from ordinary person to Mudang shaman. If you refuse it, there is a very hard thing is happening called indari. It go to your children. So your children, one of your children need to be a shaman, or your relative can die. So mostly once you, in Korea, the person was experience this illness, 신병, then they go to consult with the Mudang, and then if you hear this, then mostly people accept to become a Mudang because that they don't want to go to your children or your family members. And procedure for Neringut follow the general procedure of the region. Entering Neringut is really long, 2 days ceremony, and Mudang candidate can be received spirit will wear all the Mu clothing. Can you see the left side? There is a hanger and there are many clothes there, right? Can you see? And this one is every one cloth is represent one spirit. So you need to keep changing your clothes and then dancing and change again another clothes. So normally it's some differences according to region, but some 10 in Seoul area. You need to change the 10 clothes. It means the 10 spirits are coming and going and bow down toward the altar. Then how you know what kind of spirit you're possessed by is that there is in the table 9 small bowls contains grains such as rice, sesame seed, and beans, etc. And then the Mudang candidate choose one bowl and open the bowl, and then you can see which spirit she or he just received. For example, you pick up the sesame seed, and it means that Sanshin. So that your principal spirit is mountain god. That you will know that through the ceremony. Once this is done, teacher Mudang becomes a godmother, and the female person, the daughter who just received is become a goddaughter. They are mother-daughter relationship. And the more I was explained that the ceremony itself is very complicated. If you know the 10 different spirits and what kind of clothes you need to wear, and when you wear the clothes, how you sing song, what kind of song you need to sing, what kind of dance you dance, you need to learn from godmother from this time from time to maybe at least 5 years, 10 years. You just need to memorize everything. Then after that, you become an independent Wudang after that. So it's very difficult actually work. Okay, so then another one is that what is most important? Shamanic equipment is rattle and fan. So they hide somewhere, and Mudan candidates need to find it where it is. So this is a photo is like the white clothes woman is looking for rattle and fan, and some like mother, this grandmother already like hide somewhere, but she need to find it. Once she found it, then she become like really more and more have this kind of people are kind of sure, oh, she can be a shaman. So, good and its worldview. According to person and region, it's very. I already told you a lot of varieties of good. And basic idea of Korean shamanism is that everything, life, death, blessing, calamity, and success and failure happens by not by individual efforts, happens by spirit's will. And so good is like making like the unbalance to balance, not harmony to harmony. This is like the basic idea about the good. And then I told you that the initiation ceremony was like you need to change 10 clothes, right? And when I do the first one, you need to do this 4. So what is that? 자, 청신, you need to singing and dancing, so you will go to trance state. So then the spirit will possess you. Second, gongsu. So then you lost yourself and you deliver the spirit's will or conversations to the participants, which can be like the future prediction or can say something. And then you need to entertaining this possessed spirit, 실령, entertaining. So you will dancing. And the last one is that also through the dancing, you need to send off this possessed spirit and change the clothes, and you need to doing again. This 4. So now you can get it. Wow, it's gonna be really long one. Yeah. So yeah, just I will already a little bit talking about it. Like good is like the various patterns according to its object and also kind of spirits. So 10 clothes, 10 different spirits. And normally basic form of good involves 12 program, and each program like independent like spirit was coming and going. For example, like this. But it was I told you 10, but why 12? The first is starting with a purification. So it's gonna be like put the water on the air, and then you just like let out of all the bad or small goblins or out of this like ceremony area. But like after 10 different all the spirits, and then last one is called 뒷전. 뒷전 is like after feast. This is like bad goblin. You there's a bad goblin, right? And they are all out. But now time for bad goblins to come back, and then all giving the food to the like small or bad spirits too. So it shows like really kind of really harmony in the spiritual world too. You are not like you are bad, so you shouldn't eat anything about this ceremony. No, in Korean, no. Ceremony was like everything. When you finish it, then everyone can go and then you can eat and then finish. So it also shows like characteristics about the Korean shamanism, I think. This is a shamanistic instrument, and I just a little bit going fast. Okay. And another like I wanted to talk this too. This is also I think very good characteristic about the Korean shamanism. When you're curing sickness in Korean shamanism, you remember like the Catholic, then there is like exorcism movie is very scary. Like they really fight and then let this evil spirit out, and evil spirit while really fighting also together, very scary. But Korean shamanism is very different. Not doing like this, like not drive out the spirit of the plague by force. No. When people suffer from the smallpox, people like shamans are like this, like illness is called 손님, the guest of honor. Good to send it away by peaceful means cordially. Even like your sickness is called as a guest of honor. So this is like really, I think that shows like a very Korean shamanistic like character. And then there is no good spirit or bad spirit in Korean shamanism. Because the one spirit, ancestor spirit or other spirit can be angry and then unbalance coming and then bad things happen to the people. This is a basic like idea about the shamanism. Yeah, I will little bit pass. But then you wonder how much good is. It's very expensive. The same person, same researcher, Riora was like checking the price. The full day good ritual in Seoul is starting from 2,000 US dollars to 20,000 US dollars, depending on the expertise and how many mudangs you can call. And normally the musicians, 4 musicians like needed, so they need to play whole day or 2 days. It's really long time, and also the expenses for food, decorations, and offerings. So it just depends on the how big the team will be, and then it's gonna be more expensive. Okay, and so image of the mudang, you little bit have some idea about now. So the like relation between the mudang's image or social status and government or dynasty's policy on Korean shamanism. So the dynasty was viewed as shamanism is okay, then it was okay. So until Goryeo dynasty, it was okay. But then Joseon dynasty, it's just going to the lowest class, so uneducated and so on. Then also Japanese colonial time, remember? The people think this is like obstacles to the modernity, or Japanese also think that this is inferior religion. So it was also down. But then the Korean government was looking at as a cultural property and it's going up. So especially like Park Jong-il's Cultural Property Protection Act revived Mudang's image in society as partly positive. From 1990s, the Korean society became more democratic. Mudang's image could no longer be controlled by authorities. So they can be express themselves through the website, their own website, so or blogs, and so that it's going more better and better, I think, nowadays. Especially what happened in 1981, because so far many people think like Mudang cannot read even Korean letter, very uneducated. But what happened in 1980 that the one of the famous Mudang, her name is Kim Keun-hwa, contributed to create a positive image of the Mudang using media. In the movie Manshin, there are narration. We don't know where media used Kim or Kim used media. Kim Keun-hwa used the camera as one of her shamanistic instruments, such as rattle and sword. In 1981, she initiated her another like the name is Cheiya. Why Cheiya is famous? Because why this is like really impact on this image of the Mudang is that she is graduate of the Seoul National University, and at the time she was studying a master's program in America, very educated person, but she wanted to be a shaman. So it was very big TV program was like showing how she was like initiated and everything. And the ritual was on TV, and the interview was published in several famous magazines. And then a curator of a Smithsonian institution saw this initiation ritual and invite Kim Keun-hwa to perform shamanistic ritual in the United States. And then her ritual in United States were really, really successful and popular. So then it reflects the like image of the Mudang in South Korea, and South Korean government also think like differently, like promoting more. So the image of the Mudang was like better and better. So yes, as I just said, the individual shamans really know effort and enthusiasm, like really want to change the Mudang's image. Still, I can say, still there are two perspectives towards Mudang's image or Mudang. One is like, wow, this is a very beautiful Korean, like traditional culture. The another one is like, it's not reliable, like religious belief. It's not like we cannot believe it because there is like shamanism has cultural aspect and also has this religious aspect, right? So some people believers are going there and then pay a lot of money and then do rituals, right? But the mostly Korean people think like in these two ambivalence kind of perspective towards Korean shamanism. Okay, so my lecture is here. I mean, finished here. And do you have any question?
That was a fascinating presentation, Dr. Lee.
Thank you.
And you have
Thank you.
You have actually led us from past, how shamanism started, and it has actually how the present situation in Korean Peninsula. And now the floor is open for question and answers. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, actually, the shamanism, in Korea, it's been called as the mother of all religions. In fact, all the religions.
Kind of, yeah, but some Christianity people are strong, in Korea.
Yeah. So
they probably not really saying that, but yes, as a scholar, I can say yes because it's just started from the beginning in Korea, so I can say yes.
Yeah. So it's shamanism is well synchronized with all the other religions. If you look at the Buddhism and Confucianism and Christianity.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So my question is, these shamanistic values, what are the? It's very relevant, for the Koreans. Since it has been well synchronized with all the other religions, it is well synchronized. It means that the values are very much relevant. So my question is, what are the values which are putting a lot of pressure on the Korean women at this present context?
Can you say one more time the last one? Korean woman?
Yeah. There are certain values, the shamanistic values, which are very much relevant. Mm-hmm. At the same time, society level, they're not acceptable. The Korean society, particularly the modern young generation, they're not able to cope up with these kind of traditional shamanistic values, particularly the ancestral worship, and there is a kind of mediation between the earth and the heaven. So these kind of values are not very much taken up by the present generation in Korean society. Do you believe that? Do you think that?
I'm a little bit confused your question. But one thing is like first like synchron. I mean like Korean shamanism is like very influenced to all the religion. Yes. So that you already show like Buddhism. So Buddhism, you go to temple and you can do the Sanshin temple. So the Sanshin is a god, mountain god. So it's from shamanism. And even like Christianity, well, how they pray in this kind of style, like the praying style is no like silent. They are like speaking. They are praying, and then one moment everyone was going to the self-loss state. Some churches in Korea still, and then they speak something that is not Korean. This is like more like a shamanistic, and then also the how can I say the church person was also healing practice too in church. So it is a little bit similar to the Korean shamanism healing practice. So you just put the head and then pray to the god, in Christian church, and then this person was saying, "Oh, I feel okay." This kind of also thing, very similar, but Christian. It's a Christianity, not shamanism, but it's also effect like this way. And the second one, what you are asking was that, can you say one more time? I couldn't understand. I'm very sorry.
That's okay. How the present generation is actually looking these kind of values? That is the the brief question. Mm.
New generation is thinking not much prejudice. They are quite open more, I think. But one other thing is that they're the generation, so like my more like upper generation than me, they're not living in Seoul. Like mostly they are living in the like outside of Seoul, or even Seoul. There are so many village like rituals. So when they are grown up, they already seen the rituals. But from my generation down, I never saw naturally this kind of like ceremonies like in my town, or I couldn't see it. I'm also there, but then this time is more like the now government was like promoting this is our Korean culture, so that not in the real scene. Someone was really needed to the someone sick, so we really need to do it. And then my upper generation was like just go to the Mount Village and then just looking around, and there are just like one was going on. They are sick, and then they really can see real, genuine, like good ceremony. But that our generation is like in the theater or some space, like a little bit take out of the religious parts, and then the real shaman is doing the good, but they are taking out of the more like religious part. Shouldn't be like real followers and pay for it, but paying person is government. So then because Mudang will do the all Korean people who are already like there, also like Korea too, like broad. It's a broad one, but somehow like really taking out of the religious parts and only can see the cultural like aspect of Korean shamanism. So younger generation think like, and then my upper generation is like, how you can believe shamanism? Shamanism is it's like a lie. Our generation only see like this, and we don't have any prejudice actually. We don't think like this is someone, so that the younger generation can be more open. If they believe it and they choose to believe it, they really can believe it. So it's very different. Generational gap is really huge, I feel like.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yes.
I think.
And still young mudangs are coming, and I also interview sometime, and young mudangs, very pretty. I mean, very young and pretty, and they got initiated, and they are learning and doing the how to do the sword dancing and this kind of. Yeah, so
I think
it's keep coming. I mean, keep just going.
Rachit,
Okay, someone was asked.
Priyanka, Rachit, a few questions are waiting for you.
Sir, I think we can first read the chat box questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Setting box.
So shall I read this?
Yeah, you can read Torunika. Yeah.
Sir, there's a question from Abhishek Ranjan. He is asking, religion and religious leaders, even if in the minority, have a certain degree of political influence across the world. Does shamanism have any political significance in South Korea, or is there any way it influences the political leadership?
Because like, yes. The one thing is that this one, but because of I already told you that this is two perspective towards Korean shamanism nowadays, right? So like prejudice, like also like kind of don't believe it, and people think very negatively. You believe you cannot say even though you follow shamanism, you cannot say I follow the shamanism. No, they rather say I go to the Buddhist temple. Even though because of the people afraid of the others thinking, and quite high percentage of the Christianity population in Korea. So actually shamanism is always using as negative impact on politics for example, this now our president is Hyun, right? And then that the one follower of this Hyun was really love him, so he wrote like here's something, a Chinese character. It means king, and then he did forgot to erase it, and he was having it, and then some kind of interview, and then some people see this, and then people think this is related to shamanism, but it is not, and try to let him down. So yes, can use it as a political situation, shamanism, but always shamanism view as very negatively in Korea, unfortunately, and also cannot say to the public you are following Mudang. And then because there are many, I think more than 25% is Christianity in Korea. No religion is half. And Buddhism and other religion is half. So Christianity is really big in Korea, in the the religious picture. So then you really can say it, and always so those who are research about the Korean shamanism, and people say this one letter is related to shamanism, we are really laughing at it, but just people play with this shamanism in this politically like this way. Is it okay? I mean, do you have more questions?
Yeah, there are actually a lot in the chat box, so I'll just try to club them. There's
You can just a correction. If they have any questions, they can write to her and take it the questions and answers from her. That would be also one of the one better way to
clear the doubts.
Yeah.
So shall I read the questions?
Yeah, you can read.
So there are two questions from Mr. Rahul. He's asking, what is your take on modernization of shamanism, and does North Korea have any idea about shamanism?
Modernization of shamanism. Do you remember we have a cultural this law? Remember? So actually, this is one of the I think obstacles to be modernization of Korean shamanism, because the cultural law in 1960 that they try to find the rituals. That once you found it, then you try to reserve it as it is. So I think the modernization means that shamanism should change it with as society evolve. But because of the law, once you are designated as intangible cultural asset, then you should follow this old tradition always. So this is, I think, that shamans are a little bit difficult, and also we don't understand. The words they are singing, they need to memorize it, but this is Joseon Dynasty word. Sometimes they use that word, and then we don't understand. This is then it should be changed more easy way that people can understand, but they cannot do it because of law. But the shamans are become using online blogs and everything, so very easy to reach. You don't need to go there. You just talk with calling or chatting. So these kind of things are, I think, this is they are following the society, I think. But the rituals is not, cannot do that. Once you are the designated intangible cultural asset, then you always need to memorize as it is. Is it okay?
There are a few questions on North Korea, Mr. Abhishek Sharma. He's also asking, can you please share your observations on the practice of shamanism in North Korea? There are reports that even after being banned by the regime, it is still practiced in North Korea through other means like fortune telling.
I think for me, North Korea is difficult. As you know, I cannot go to North Korea. I want to go to North Korea, but once I go to North Korea, then I'm gonna be jailed for a long time. So Korean, yes. But I really want to, yeah. I mean, before I die, I really want to go to North Korea. I mean, legally, not illegally. So, but I feel that North Korea is very difficult. I think if once they are found, they are doing it, then they're gonna be go to either camp or can be killed. So I don't know. They're gonna be very difficult, I think. And now with more pressure from this new, I mean, young Kim. So you can go. You can go to North Korea. I hope you can go and research. It's gonna be great. My passport, no, I cannot go. I'm sorry. And what is the next one?
The next one talks about, actually, I also wanted to ask why the Mudangs are mostly female. Any particular reason for that?
Yes, I also really wonder. But I was talk a lot of like also other researchers and scholars, but the the Siberian shamans are normally they are trans and they are out of their body go to this spiritual world. But maybe because woman is more easy to accept. So I think that's why. There are more women. And also in Joseon Dynasty, many followers are women, and also woman cannot meet men in Joseon Dynasty. No, you cannot. So maybe female is more easy to meet. Anyway, the most customers are women in Joseon Dynasty. So I think the one of the reason. And also the funny thing is, Korean male Mudang is very female-like when they do the good ceremony. They become really like speaking, acting. After they know, but once they go into the ceremony, you will see that their actions are doing the things are very female-like. This is very interesting too. Yes.
And Dr. Lee, I think you have already answered Ms. Shaila's question on how younger generation in South Korea perceive shamanism. So rest, there are a few hands raised I can see, and I think you guys can start asking.
I think Chitranjan asked.
Can I?
Some question.
There's just one in the chat box, just now. Shamanism, how does shamanism has any economic outlook or influence on the chaebols, or does shamanism still have influence on families' finances, investing in savings?
Yeah, so chaebol was really using a lot of these rituals actually. So, and it's also very expensive, but they also really want to do the ceremonies too. So it's quite related, yes, I can say. And it's very expensive, and they can pay more than normal people can pay. So they can make really big one for them. And I think I found one thing is like, as just Professor Sudhakar was starting, Korea was very advanced, technologically very advanced. But I think in Bugabu I Ching that always like extreme things are going together. Extremes are going together. So I think technologically very advanced, but at the same time, our sensitive fields are also very strong. So wants to get it with the religious rituals, I think. Do you understand what I mean? So they're going to the very extreme technologically, but also going to the very religious. Something was needed to this area too. So I think that's why chaebol was doing too. Chaebols are wanted to be through the good or more make sure that they are going to the right direction. They wanna feel this kind of like psychological relief from that. And then they also can hear from the mudang that what can be happen in the future, what they shouldn't do it, or they should sign it, or they shouldn't sign it, a paper. They can hear many like kind of advices through the booth. So I think that's why the Jebo really like to go to the mudang and do ceremonies, I think. And the politicians too. There are many articles, news articles about the politicians. Always before going to election, they go to the mudang and can I be elected or not? Or so. If you look at the like 1980s and 1990s, like the newspaper, I was actually like one of my part of my doctoral thesis is they are always go and ask, can I? And they do the like silently do the the just like do the ceremony under the moonlight, disappeared because of they want to be successful, I think. Nowadays I don't have like this kind of newspaper, but 1980s and 90s quite a lot of.
So during the elections and other special advertisements, and I think they become rich during those times. All the Muslims.
Actually, no need to be. The people know who's the best actually already, and I mean like the politicians probably have like already have the his like favored shamans, mudangs, and then they often go already from the maybe quite long time. So yes, can be very busy too. I think that those are like very famous ones are during the election time. They are very very busy. You need to tell who will be elected. Yes. So the another thing is that also mudangs can be criticized too. The like if we just look at the like life of the mudang is very tough. The unit going through the this very like hallucination and everything like 신병 and then initiation you need to learn like at least 5 years what you can do during the ceremony and what should you do. But its life is very difficult. But on the other hand, once you are very famous, then you can be all kind of you have like a power and money too. You can get a lot of money, and it also can be a scam. There are many scam cases too. So no one knows that you are really initiated or not. There is no system like a priest system that there is a book and there is like priest system. But the shaman I believe that the shaman also have a kind of system that you are initiated from whom and who. Should be like the lines. If not, the people don't know and they go and there is like a fake shaman can be also. So this is what also the kind of difficulties I think in Korean shamanism. And also there is also that's why the negative perspective too.
I think Chittaranjan written some question in the chat box. Can anybody read?
Sir, like I read that already on Chebon. So Priyanka and Apurva they have raised their hand.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for the comprehensive lecture. I am Priyanka and I am pursuing my PhD in Korean Studies from JNU New Delhi. So, Mudang, as you highlighted in the presentation, were lower class people who later became slaves. They became shamans over a period of time through the process. So, my question was that this was to overcome oppression by them to place themselves in the society in a better.
I cannot hear you well, actually. So how the sound is broken?
I think it was kind of interrupted, the question.
There is some network issue with Priyanka.
Yes, sir. So I'll just post it in the chat box.
Yeah.
Time pone 1 baje.
I think Apurva can ask.
Apurva. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Lee. I'm Apurva. I just have a question. Do shamanism have regional characteristics as well? Is there a difference between mainland shamanism and Jeju shamanism? And the second question is, I have even read the association of Park Geun-hye with shamans. Like after she lost her mother, she repeatedly went for shamanistic healing, and she even got involved with someone called Cho Son Lee, and she was a shaman, and she even gained economic favor because of that relation. So you have any idea about this as well? You can enlighten me.
Yes. So um, somehow that I couldn't understand the question. I'm sorry.
Do shamanism have regional characteristics as well?
Yeah, right. So Jeju, yeah, Jeju is different. Jeju is like before. First, Jeju and Korea language different. Jeju, South Korea, North Korea. South Korea, North Korean people understand each other. But South Korea, North Korea people cannot understand Jeju people's like speaking at all. They completely different language, and even really just 안녕하세요 like this like cannot understand their language, their Jeju words. No, I even cannot understand. So that their mythology, their like the rituals are very different from mainland. Yes, I can see from the language and mythology and everything. Yes, and second.
Was Park Geun-hye associated with shamanism
Park
after she
Geun-hye.
lost her parents?
Oh, 박근혜? I don't think so. She's, I think, very related to the Christianity. So, but if you feel like, yes, I mean, not 박근혜, but like, can be father, mother, like, died or killed like this way, then there is a kind of, yes, it can be like the shamans, like, can be, but should have a calling first. So that she need to undergo through this all the hallucinations and all the symptoms first. Then maybe she will do. But once she really like decide to be a shaman, then we all know. But I don't think this maybe it's not true. I think, and she was really part of the Christian community, so also can possibly become like a president at the time. If she's shaman, no. Probably cannot, because like politically people think like shamanism is not positively, so you need to really check with the source, I think. Yes.
I think Priyanka, she sent a question in the chat box. Can anybody? Can you read it?
I can read it, sir. So Priyanka is asking, Mudang, as you highlighted in your presentation, were lower class who later became slaves. They became shamans over a period of time through the process. So my question is, was this some kind of strategy to overcome their oppression, to get rid of the societal discrimination and place themselves in a better way in the society?
Oh, you mean Joseon Dynasty? I wonder, is it in Joseon Dynasty? I think you're asking, right?
I think so.
I think so, ma'am. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Once I think one of the strategy is this: there should be a queen, or there should be a queen, Korean queen, Joseon Dynasty, who really go for the shamanism. And then another condition is the number 2 is that you are very famous Muda. In the case, you can be a really, really high social status. Because one of the cases is Myeongsong Hangwoo. She really loved the shamanism. So I think 1 or 2 shamans are very high social status. So these queens, if the queens are really love the shamanism and go for it, normally in Joseon Dynasty, the really followers are women. So high status person, loyal family will really love it, and then they wanted to do the many like rituals and then Wudang keep hiring, and then can be a very higher post. So you check it out, these Myeongseonghang cases, then you will find the 2 or 1 is very, very high. Is it okay?
And there is just like last question. It's on mental health. Hanisha is asking, do you believe that if mental health counseling is active in Korea, do you think it could impact business of shamanism?
Mental. Actually, the mental health counseling is not active in Korea. Korean people don't want to be exposed that you will go to consult in the hospital. So that's why the shamans are more easy to access and no one knows that you are going there. So that's why they are popular, I think, than going to the hospital. And because then people think, I think that if we just compare two, one is going to the shaman and the other one is to go to the hospital, I think this is better. Shaman, go to shaman is better. I will not tell anyone, both of them, but if we are exposed to the others, this is still better, I feel like. So we are not, I mean, Korean people's problem too, really reluctant to go to the, this mental health counseling, I think.
I think Rachit, I think he wants to ask some question.
I just want to ask two small questions. First is, you said that Mudang's life is very difficult. So it's rather considered a curse rather than a blessing. Can you hear me? Yeah. So
Yes.
Why is it that? And if it is so, then why do they become Mudang? That is first question. And second question, I saw this good ceremony video clip on YouTube, wherein they were trying to show some kind of divine power, wherein they were hitting themselves with a sharp object like knife or sword, and the blood was not coming out. And that was their way of showing that, some kind of divine power is with us. So has there been any scientific study for whatever, like how true are these things and what really happens? I wondered.
Mm-hmm. Knife thing, yes, you see like knife, and then they are like doing like knife like this, and then they going up to this knife with a bare foot, and then dancing there, and then there's no any cutting, right? Yes, I think that once you are going to the really in the trance state, and then also if you are everything procedures in the good ceremony was right, and purification everything procedures are well done, then your feet will be no harm. But once you're like something was wrong, then you can be cut. So cutting also can be sometimes like happening too. Then something was wrong. Your prayer or anything was wrong. So that's also, yeah. The people can see it, and then Mudang also can see they need to figure out what was wrong, what was like what procedure was missing, or their prayer was not enough, or things like that. And then another thing is that that also in the good that there are many like ceremonies like that spirit was satisfied. So for example, like you have the like kind of earth, and they put something here, and you should be balanced, something like that. I think we might see it during the rituals that they put some like, I don't know, I cannot remember, or something like, or then put this very difficult to balance, but then they make the balance. But sometimes they cannot make the balance, and then the whole people around not followers, but the people are like close or coming, and they also can pray, give the money there. They are trying to really like pray really hard, and then later then they are okay. They can make it balance. But I heard it looks very difficult, but if they are practicing really, really hard, you can make it. I heard. Yeah. Yeah. But I think but basically, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to balance it. I think normal people cannot make it. I think just like the or the food and they put this like wooden stick or something like that, and balance is very difficult. But then through all the acts that you will see everything is going well or something's wrong, then Mudan can see it, and everyone participants can see and feel it. And what was wrong, and they also try to focus that things can be going well. Okay.
I think it's. I think we can wind up because almost we have one. We are in the local time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you have more questions,
Yeah, I think
please
there's one more question.
email me. Oh, you have a question, yes.
Sir, can we ask the participants to email?
Yeah, that would be, that's what I'm telling. Yeah, because she's very patiently, she's answering each
Yes,
and every
sir.
question. We're very thankful to you,
Yeah.
Dr. Lee, that thank you for your patience. We're appreciating your patience.
Thank you.
And, I think we'll ask our viewers to send their questions directly to you.
Yeah, please send it to me.
You
I will
just drop your
reply
email.
by email.
You just drop your email in the chat box so that they can take your email and they can communicate with you.
Okay.
So
Yes, sir. Sir, shall we like end this session here?
yeah. So
thank
I
you.
think
Yes, sir.
okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for sharing this session. We were very excited to have you, and also Dr. Lee, thank you so much. Actually, I met her during the conference at Manchester, and we were in the same panel talking about gender and low fertility rates. And at that time, I realized that she has so much knowledge to share to our scholars here as well. Thank you so much for your time, and it means a lot to us. We are very happy
Thank
to
you so
have
much
you
for
and also
inviting me.
and if with your permission, I'll share your email ID with our viewers,
Yes,
and then
yes.
they can directly send
I'll let you know. Yes.
the email to you. Yeah. Thank you so much. This will be also available on YouTube, so they can also like go back and watch the the discussion again for any clarity. People are just saying thank you.
Thank you so much for everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It was a great session.
Torunika.
감사합니다.
Thank you. Thank you. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. 감사합니다.